Okay, let's continue. All right. So in the previous session, we created a dynamic, we created a loop in our submit function here, in the click function here, and then we
are not seeing your screen. Oh.
Okay. Can you see the screen now?
Yeah.
Okay. So we created a loop in our click function here. And then inside the loop, we appended our form data dynamically in the loop. So dynamically, we are generating our programs and then the number of staff for that particular program. But there is a need to check if the selected program has their corresponding number of staff selected or inputted. So for example, if the user selects the first program, the first checkbox, we need to ensure that the user has entered a value in the corresponding input field. Okay, so to do that, we need to do something smart here. So here we've created a click function for the checkboxes. So when a box is checked, we are able to know, we are able to detect if a box is checked. Okay. Now, how do we know which box is checked? To do that, we add what we call an attribute. We add an attribute to the input checkbox. We call it ID count. And then inside it, we have instantiated it with what the row ID. So what it means is that when we click a checkbox, we'll be able to know which one is checked. So when you click this, the fourth one is checked. Okay. Now, if we're able to do this, then we can write a function here. We can write a conditional statement here and then say that if we write a conditional statement and say that if the attribute, the ID count attribute, if it is equal to 1, then we are going to show the number of staff input box for that corresponding input for that corresponding program. So if it is equal to 1, we say that number of staff 1 should show. Benjamin, are you here? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Then let me go over to this. Okay, now this is, so in the previous session, we populated the form data dynamically using a loop.
Hello, you sat down for 1 hour. Please get up and walk. Thank you.
Yeah, I hope you understand that.
Yes.
Okay. Now, the next thing we need to ensure is that all corresponding input for the number of staff is also entered. So, for example, if the user checks the first program, we have to ensure that he has entered a value in what? In the number of staff. Now, to do that, we need to detect the clicks. So the detection is what we've done here, this click function. We added this CHK box class to the input checkbox and created a click function out of it. So what it means is that when we click, we'll be able to know which checkbox we've clicked. Okay. Now, inside the checkboxes, we've also created what we call an attribute. So this ID count here, it is called an attribute. We've created and then instantiated the ID, the row ID into it. So for example, if we alert here and then we say this, and we say this dot attribute ID count, when we do this and then we click, the system is going to display which the attribute of the program we've clicked. So this will display 1. This will display 2. Going like that. I hope you understand.
Yes.
Okay. So the next thing we have to do is we just write a conditional statement and say that if the attribute is 1, if it is 1, then it should show what? The number of staff. It should show the number of staff input. That is, yeah, the number of staff for 1. Number of staff 1 input. And then 2, it should also add a certain class. Now, which class is this guy requiring? This CHK input. This CHK input means that any of the input elements having this class, if it doesn't have, let me take it again. This field required prompter means that if any input element that has this class doesn't have if it doesn't have a value entered in it, the system should not allow this block, the block inside the field required prompter to execute. So it's like a preventive measure. If the element has this class, it must have input for the click block to function. Do you get my explanation? We are going somewhere with it. Hello, Ben.
Prof.
do you get my explanation?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But the field required prompt in there, that one I understand.
So all that we are trying to do is this. We are going to add this check input class here, this class. We are going to add it to, add it to all the elements that is going to be clicked, that is going to be checked, so that if you don't put a value there, the system will alert you that you must put a value there. Let's do it. So over here, we will say that the number of staff, this number of staff 1 input. Okay, we are going to add a class to it. We are going to add this class. We are going to add this class to it. That's CHK input. Yes. So here we are showing it, and then here we are adding what? This class to it. Okay. There is another thing we have to do. Okay, let's see this one first. So what it means is that if we click this, it's going to display the input. First of all, let's check if the input is there. What's the ID? Number of staff. There's the ID. Okay, I get it. So the hidden is here. Okay, then let's give this a certain ID. Let's call it SH input. That show input. Okay. And then here we append the row ID. So here we do this. Okay. All right. Now let's see it. Still. SH input 1 dot show. SH input is an ID dot show. Is it in the loop? Yeah, it is. If it's equal to 1, why is it not coming? Something should be wrong with the phone. Let me see. Expected token depth.js 56. And is depth.js or is inbuilt. This is training. This oh, what's up? Okay. Okay. And then if this attribute count is equal to, okay, call the level of this. I'm thinking this is a string, not a one. So why is it? Let's make this a string and let's see. Here, correct. You see, jQuery is very, very sensitive. Very, very sensitive. Now you realize that. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, bro.
Okay, let's continue. You get it. So over here, as you can see, when we click this, so all that we are doing is when we click a program, the corresponding input value, hidden input should show. And then when it shows, we add this class to it, this CHK input. We add it to it to make it a compulsory element. So let's see something. When we click submit, where is your highlighting? Okay, there is 0 inside. Okay, let me see. Where is your form? Add class CHK input. Why is your forms not highlighting? Okay, you let's proceed. I think the major thing is what we've done. Okay. All right. So in the same way, we just duplicate this and say that else if okay, this duplication doesn't make sense. We have to go for a loop. We don't have to repeat all this. A loop should be able to do the work. So let's define a loop here. Let's define a loop here. Then in the same way, we are going to use our counts program here. So let's copy the whole of this. Okay. So we say that if this attribute count is equal to the loop, the I is equal to I. But we need to pass this, we need to cast it to string. And then here, we add I to it. I to it. Now let's look at this. So if it is okay, let's test this guy here. Count frog length. Let's put select here. ID count. ID count is the attributes, right? Okay. ID count is the attributes. ID count. Okay, the attributes. Okay. So let's see if we are going to get a value. 1. Okay. 2. Perfect. So what it means is that, okay, let's remove this casting from there and see. This is an integer. We need to change this to string. Yeah, pass string, pass from string. No, it's to string. I is I dot to string is not working. Okay, let's do this. I'll let I dot to string. No. That's not going to work. Benjamin,
Prof.
how do you convert an integer to string in JS? Dot to string. Okay, I think dot to string should work. Let me see. Let's I dot to string like this. This should work. Perfect. Okay. Hey, why 0, 0? No. Okay, is it we are not inside the loop? Okay, that's fine. That's fine. All right. So here. So what it means is that we need to start our iteration from 1, not 0. Then we do less or equal to. So I dot to string, and we do this. Yeah. Perfect. If it is 2, we are locked. Okay, we fix it. If is equal to this, so string do this. Dot I. Okay, let's see something new. And let's I dot to string. 1. Why is the second one not happening? Why is it only 1 that is happening? Something has been wrong here. If ID count is equal to ID prime.
Prof. CON can we know?
I think so when to me and join it. SH1.
Bro, it didn't close the one.
Which one?
Alert dots to string.
It's close to. If it's equal to. No, is this important? I think this is not necessary. This is not necessary. So click. This is not necessary. This is not necessary. Let's check it. That shouldn't be necessary. No. Let me see. First one, second. No. Okay, let's see here. Show iterations when you click. When you click. When you click. One. And why is it coming 1 like that? There should be something wrong with the loop. Why is I being 1? I is equal to 1, I is less equal to this dot val I plus plus. So why is I coming 1? Guys, watch into the code now. Let's be sure of this value here. Okay.
Hello,
Why is this?
You've sat down. Please get up and walk. Please get up and walk. Thank you.
Where is our count prog? This is our count prog. We put our count inside. Why is it giving us a value of 1? This count prog, why is it giving a value of 1? Okay, let's alert it outside and see. No, why 1? So it means our counter, this counter is not working. This count is not working. We echo here, we plus plus. MC Vadam count. I 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 12.
Away.
So why is it not okay? So my the trick we will say. We want the solution. So let's just do this. Let's do count here. It's equal to db get data here value. Select count ID from program. Simple. And ID counts. So let's as ID counts. Yeah. Then pass ID count here. So we pass our count here. Now let's see our count value. Pass is 94. 94 here. We didn't close it. Okay, so now we have our count as 12. Perfect. So if that's the case, okay. So now it should work. Okay. So if we click, okay, so this is where the if must come in to control. So we say that if this dot attribute, then we call our attribute, which is what ID count. ID count is equal to I dot to string. I dot to string. Then is equal to I dot to string. Then this I. Okay. Let's see. 1. Perfect. 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 All right. Ben, you see, Ben is not there. Okay. Okay. So now the challenge with this is we also need to revert it. For example, if we uncheck, it should hide. But you see that it's not hiding. Guys, can you see?
Yeah.
So we need to write a line which will send the check-in. So what it means is that if you uncheck it, to the same process must be repeated. We repeat it and then we hide. Okay.
Yeah, no. Right.
So this is what we are going to do. We will say that if here we can put something here that if this dot is checked, there is a function. Is it a check? Is checked. Let's try this and see. If this is checked, do this, else we hide it. Hide. Okay, I think the is check is not a function.
It's not it's set. Like it's set.
It's what? Set.
Set.
I've not heard that. This thing, you can't keep everything in your head. Where did ID? You always do this for better. Let's see.
Hello, you've sat down for 1 hour. Please get up and walk. Thank you.
Where do I have this thing? Checked. CB. Okay, so here you get a selector, query selector. Can't you use input or check? Click. Yeah. Check. Where do we have checks? Oh, we should have it somewhere. I'm coming. Let me go and find solution. Where? The same green in this project, there should be check somewhere. Let's come here. Let's come to assets. Let's come to AppDS and look for a checkbox. Check. I should have this thing, plenty of them. Where do you do the registration? Is it registration? Checkbox, check hash. This one we are checking everything. This thing. I think yeah, it's something like this. If this dot prop checked. Okay, dot prop. So let's see if this dot prop checked. Okay, let's try this and see. No. Okay, something is missing. Okay, so I think we are through. Perfect. Okay. Yeah, so Benjamin is off. Edumara, I I hope the recording is on. Okay, yeah, so far we are done.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so far we are done. So the next thing that is going to happen is that now in the processor, for the processor, I'll leave him to do it. So in the processor, you are going to get rid of all this and then write a single, he's going to write a loop to get the values. He's going to get yes, he's going to write a loop to get the values. After getting the values, how is he going to do the insertion with the dynamic generated values? He can do that with an array. So he creates an array, he creates a loop, and then he will loop through the values. The number of iteration is going to be defined here. So this one, this here, he will pass this as a parameter to the form data. Maybe you can call it array count. So when it gets here, you use that array count to write a loop to automatically generate this. Yeah. Yeah, automatically generate this. I think I did a similar thing here. Let me see, post student. I did something like that here. Yeah, so so this is it. Okay. With this. Training. Let's go to training.php. Yeah. So the point is, over here, we have dynamically generated the form data. So in the same way, we have to dynamically populate that data here. So here, he's going to write this one. I'll let him do it. He's going to write a for loop here. And then, as I said, the loop counter or the number of iterations is going to be defined as a form data. And then he will pass the count prog, this one, which is the number of iterations. He will pass it into the form data. And then over here, he will define a loop with the number of iterations. And then he will dynamically generate the variables. Yeah. Yeah, so that's what he's going to do. I'll leave him to do this. Yeah. All right, so far so good. This is done. We've set with just some few lines of codes. All right. So I hope Benjamin, you when you see this video, when you see this recording, it means that at this point you are going to continue. So you are going to proceed with the training.php. Write a loop, write a single loop that will handle the insertion. A loop to receive the inputs, the form data inputs here in the processor, and then do the insertion, and then you get rid of this if functions here. It has to be represented